Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Stock Compounder. My name is Brad, and today I want to talk about passive investing in stocks. Passive investing in the stock market. So first, let's define what passive investing is. So in my view, passive investing is where you're investing in a way where you're not trying to time the market. You're not making predictions about whether the market is high or low, and whether you should invest more at any particular time and less at another particular time. The other aspect of it is you're not researching individual businesses to try to figure out, okay, is this business a good deal right now or is it overpriced? You know, it's really the absence of those things. And it's really characterized by you're spending little time and effort when it comes to investing your money in the stock market. And there's a few ways to do passive investing. One of them, which most people know about, is index investing. And this is what Warren Buffett recommends for people, is you invest in something like an S&P 500 index, which is a portfolio that really tracks the performance of the S&P 500 and the 500 of the largest companies in the US. So you're really tying your portfolio performance to, how the market does. You're hitching your wagon to the market, so to speak. And for those of you who are on Robinhood, check out VOO. It's an S&P 500 index ETF. Very low fees. I think it's like 0.04%. So that's really what you want in index funds, is the lowest fees possible. And those have come down a lot over the years. So another option for passive investing is to something like following the magic formula. So in this book, Joel Greenblatt lays out an approach called the magic formula investing. And basically, you build a portfolio each year. You buy 20 to 30 companies. And then each year thereafter, you sell the ones that are no longer on the magic formula screen, and you buy ones that are. So every year, you're automatically removing companies that aren't on the list anymore, and you're adding companies that are new on the list. So that is an approach. It's not active because you're not timing anything. You're not trying to get the market when it's low and sell out when it's high. You're kind of automatically every year buying and selling based on what's on the list. And it doesn't take very long. Every year you check in and you shuffle things around in your portfolio and you're done. So there's no constant monitoring of the portfolio or anything like that. So that's an approach that's actually worked very well when back tested over the last 3 decades or so. We don't have a lot of data over the last decade, but it's a very compelling approach as compared to simply investing in the S&P 500 index. And then another approach is called the free lunch portfolio. And that was created by this guy, Mohnish Pabrai. Came out of a conversation that he had with Charlie Munger. Basically, Pabrai was like, okay, if I wanted to kind of create a set it and forget it portfolio, how would that be constructed? And essentially, there's 3 baskets with this approach. There's, spin-offs, companies that have spun off a part of their business recently. There's cannibals, companies that are aggressively buying back shares of their own stock or retiring shares so that the existing shareholders have a bigger and bigger piece of the pie as those shares are bought back. And then the third category is cloners. So these are companies that other great asset managers have bought recently. So just copying what the great investors are buying. And when you take kind of 5 companies from each of those baskets you've got this 15 stock portfolio that Monish Pabrai on his blog, Chai with Pabrai, he puts out, what those 15 stocks are each year. So you can buy them once a year. When the next year comes along, sell the ones that are no longer on the list and add the others to your portfolio so you maintain 15 companies in your portfolio. And that's really the free lunch portfolio. That's how that works. And then finally, another approach could be to look at the 13F filings, which is the cloning approach that Pabrai also uses within the free lunch portfolio, but to look at what the great investors have bought recently and simply decide which investors you want to clone based on, their history of performance, ideally over 15 plus years. If they have a concentrated portfolio approach that tends to work better for cloning, and really understanding what their investment process is and how well that translates into cloning them. Now, so you can also combine some of these, right? So one thing I have been really interested in lately, and I've been doing to an extent, is to look at companies that are both on the magic formula screen and have been bought recently by these super investors. So in that way I can kind of take two different metrics, right, and just pull out the investments that show up on both of them. Two different criteria, so to speak. So you can kind of form your own strategy based on combining multiple strategies from different places. And that can work very well as well. And the real key to passive investing is you have to know enough about your approach and why it works over time, why you should have confidence in it, that you can stick with it, that you can stick with it over a period of years, decades even, because that's really how long it takes for the magic of compounding to really kick in. You can't do a strategy for 2 or 3 years and expect that you're going to have great results. The magic of compound interest is when the interest adds on top of your contributions, and it starts slow. The interest starts to pile up slowly, but then if you ever look at a compound growth curve, you can see after a while it starts to take off exponentially, and that's really the snowball effect that Warren Buffett's biography was named after, Snowball. That's really how it works. You get a little bit starting to roll, right? You've got to have some starting capital, and then over the years it starts to become this behemoth of a portfolio. But in order to get there, you have to stick with an approach. You have to believe in that approach in order to stick with it. So, the whole idea of passive investing, yeah, it's passive once you have your approach and you stick with it. But it can take a little work to settle on an approach, to decide on an approach that you're comfortable sticking with. For example, Michael Burry recently was talking about the index fund bubble, so many people are passively investing in index funds now that because of that, the expected returns are lower because the number of investment has pushed up prices relative to the value of those companies, which diminishes expected returns. So, if you were at all on the fence about how good of a strategy that was, investing in index funds, something like that, where Michael Burry comes out and questions the whole premise, could throw you off, and then you don't stick with the approach and you just give up on it. So That's why it's important to believe in your approach and to understand why it works. And of course, you have to have an open mind. If you have an approach and it's clear based on, rational evidence that it's no longer working, you also have to be willing to take that new evidence into consideration. And, you may have to switch your approach. But where you get into trouble is when you jump from approach to approach because, you have this fear of missing out, or you get greedy, or the way to make money is not to jump from ship to ship and, try to make a quick buck. So, obviously you want to be rational about it, but you don't want to let your emotions kind of force you into making or kind of get you to make irrational, short-term driven decisions. Okay, these approaches take time to unfold, to play out, to show profits. So, I just wanted to share a few thoughts on passive investing. I think it's a great approach for most people. But, it's not all passive. Obviously, you have to decide how much you're going to contribute per month, what percentage of your income. You've got to decide if you're going to be in a taxable account, if you're going to be in a, tax-advantaged account like an IRA or a Roth IRA. Index fund, you got to decide which index fund, if you're going to do a couple index funds together. So even being passive investments, we still have active decisions to make. And, the passive, it helps us in a lot of ways remove biases from the equation of investing. But, it's not going to remove all of them. So it's important to kind of keep that in mind and to do some research, to set it up in a way that you're confident about it and you can stick to it year after year, ideally decade after decade. So that's what I wanted to share about passive investing in stocks. Let me know what you guys think about passive investing versus active investing in this environment, and what the advantages that you see to passive investing versus picking stocks and trying to time buying them when they're at a discount as opposed to when they're overpriced. Love to hear from you in the comments. Smash that thumbs up if you love this video. Subscribe to my channel. I put out a video every day about investing and my journey towards financial freedom. So that's all I got, guys. Have a great day. Stay safe out there. Take care.